Hello, folks. Happy Monday. I hope your weekend was as good as mine. As you can see from my red nose, my burnt face, I enjoyed the outdoors with family and friends, so I hope you had the same. Well, in the meantime, we saw something very interesting happening, not only in the crypto market, but also in the traditional markets. If you look at the S&P 500, Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything, what did they have in common? In the last 7 days, they had over 10% recovery from the huge downturn that we saw because of Trump's tariffs. Why is that happening? And how's that going to change what we have for the future? Let's talk about that in today's video. So today's video is also going to be a little bit short. I have a little bit of a raspy voice. I had to yell a lot during the weekend. I had to talk a lot during the weekend, so I had to tweak some settings on my microphone. All that panic from Trump's tariffs made the market go down a lot. But now in the past day, 24 hours, we saw a huge correction closing that gap that we had because of the fear of the Trump's tariffs. That fear created a huge gap in liquidity for the market, while also liquidating a lot of people, especially retailers that were in crypto, in stocks, and a lot of other markets out there. So we are going to analyze some things right here. But before we do that, let's look at the prices of some of these assets. We have Bitcoin right here at 84,600. We have Ethereum at 1,600. We have XRP at 2.14, BNB at 589. We have Solana at 133. Thank God Solana is back up. Solana is up 30% in the last 7 days, and so on and so forth. But if we look right here at liquidations in the past 24 hours, it is almost $400 million. So yeah, quite a lot was liquidated in the past 24 hours, in the past day, and 60% of all these liquidations were longs. Now, if we look at the heat map for Bitcoin, we have two hotspots right here, points of interest, which are above on the 85,600 and below at the $84,000. So these places are places where liquidations will happen. If you don't know how to read this map, is whenever you hit these bright spots right here, these zones are zones where there's a lot of positions to be liquidated. If you're going up, you're going to liquidate shorts. If you're going down, you're going to liquidate long positions. So that is how you read these charts right here, this map right here. What it shows is also places of interest where Bitcoin or other assets can move towards, because it tends to be attracted to these liquidation zones to wipe the market, take people out and then correct to other places. This could mean that we could see the $86,000 in the near future, especially if this keeps getting brighter and brighter, so more yellow. If we switch to Ethereum now, we have a very strong point of interest right here at 1700 and a few below the current price. If we switch that to Solana now, you can see two hot spots above the 135 and one right at the 130 mark. So maybe we're going to liquidate these first. We just got a little bit of liquidation right here around the 133, 134, and we went down a little bit, but I think we should be bouncing back. Now, if we move to charts, to super charts, where we can see things on a better scale. If you look right here at Bitcoin, we bottomed almost at oversold on the RSI at around $74,000, which was a price we last saw on November 6th, which was on Trump's election, I think it was. I don't know if it was the 6th or the 5th. You guys can correct me right here. Maybe the editor will put it on the screen. I don't know. But early November was when Trump was announced as the next president of the United States. And this is when we started to have that boom, that spike in price. We're still below the averages. So the 200 moving average and the 100, I think this is, yeah, the 100 moving average. We're still below those, but we have been bouncing and testing on them for a few times now. So right here, here, this one doesn't count in my opinion, and now we're testing again. If we switch to Ethereum now, you can see that we are bouncing back from a very oversold place around 24, which below 30, it means they're entering that zone. If you pull a line right here, you see we're still on a downtrend and we're testing that imaginary resistance that we have right here. Let me actually try to draw that with the mouse. It is not the best thing, but you can see that better. So we are testing here, right around here, this place right here as well, and now we're testing again. So for Ethereum, we still don't have anything that shows us that it makes sense to go long Ethereum right now, because we're still below the neutral zone. We're not looking that we're heading with the RSI above the 50, and we have to wait for a confirmation right here, because what we could end up seeing is that it's going to test again where we are, and then it's going to slowly pull down once again for Ethereum. So we have to wait to see a confirmation where it goes above this average for the Bollinger, maybe tries to touch the Bollinger when it is very wide right here, which it currently is. You can see wider places like it is right now, if we test the top of a Bollinger where it's very wide, it means that it's gaining positive momentum. And then this line right here, this ugly line that I drew, it becomes a support. And if it tests it and it holds as a support, then we could be very bullish on Ethereum, which is not the case so far. Now, if we switch to Solana, Solana has actually flipped the line. If you put a line right here, we flipped the line. We are above the averages. We are holding above the 50 on the RSI. So Solana could be bullish. What is currently holding up Solana right now would be these two averages right here. So these averages are going to act a little bit like a ceiling for Solana. We have to wait how Solana reacts when it touches these specific price zones right here, how the market reacts, if it's going to pull back or not. Now, if you look to the S&P 500, which can give us huge insights, as I mentioned in other videos previously, which right now is at 5,420. So indeed above where we were last week when we recorded the other video. I said we open on a gap, so this gap will close positively. So will it hold right now, or are we just gonna see it going down again? Well, we don't know. We have to wait and see, but it's good to see that the Bollinger helps us understand direction. So as I said before on Monday's video, maybe on Friday's video, because we closed below the Bollinger, the next week we have the tendency to go back inside the Bollinger, which is exactly what happened right here. You can see that right in this green candle. We closed below the Bollinger right here, outside of the Bollinger, and I told you, well, when we close below the Bollinger, we usually tend to correct back inside the Bollinger. On the weekly, it shows that perfectly right here. We opened even further down than what we closed on 2 weeks ago, and then we closed the gap inside the Bollinger. And now we're opening again above, but now we have to wait to see where this is going to go. If we're going to go down even more, or we're going to correct towards the center right here of the moving average and the center of the Bollinger. But if we zoom out, you can see that corrections like these, which on a weekly basis is very strong. You can see that it's just on a matter of a week, we fell down almost 20%. We can see similar things all the way right here with the COVID recession, where the markets melted very, very fast, just like we had right here. So very fast meltdown. This is not even compared. So we cannot compare this to what we saw right here, because this was a slow process of going down. This was just 1 week of like huge downturn, just like we had with the COVID. And we can bring that all the way to 08. If we go to the market crash of 08, you can see that it was very similar. Huge red movement right here, and then we started to have that correction. So looking back at our time frame right now, would it be possible that history repeats itself, and after a huge wipe like we saw here and here, we're gonna have now a bounce back and a huge bullish continuation of the year? Well, we don't know. It's looking like it is, because when the market moves down very, very fast, it usually resets for a next runner up, a next leg up. So this right here, being very similar to what we see right now, could be the beginning of a next bullish phase. With 2 or 3 videos ago, we said that it could be up all the way to September of this year, and then we switched to another phase of slowing down and going down a little bit for the next cycle. So again, we're hopeful that this will happen. And if it happens on the stock market, it will trickle down to Bitcoin, which again will trickle down to altcoins in general. This is currently what I think is going to happen to the market. But before we close, I want to show you something, which is the copy trading. In the month of April, which we're halfway there right now, we are already up more than the whole month of March, 3.5% so far for the month of April. And this is fantastic news, because we are halfway there. So if we double this is not a promise, but if we double that, it will be 7%, making it the best month we have seen since November 2024. So hopefully we actually see that and we get that delivered. But it's good to see that we are going back strong. We're coming back strong with the copy trading for both the 0DTE, but also for the Phoenix strategy, which is going up by 0.57%. So you can see the total P&L since this strategy started is 83% right here. And we're getting very close to the 2 million assets under management. So if you are interested into having your passive income with USDC or USDT, check out Bitopics. It is the first link in the description. And if you have any questions or any doubts that you would like to ask us, we're also going to start putting down the Discord down here for you to join. And you can ask questions, you can post right there, market insights, whatever you feel like it. So both of these links will be below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on Wednesday for another video. Take care. Peace.